Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome to 7.2. It's now on live servers. We do have access to all the good stuff, except everything that's time gated, so that's like 90% of it. But we are going to be looking at the new traits that we have as a marksmanship hunter specifically, and in what order you want to be filling out all of your traits, because we've got a lot of extra AP to grind now, so there are some prerequisites to this. First, you'll need to have AK-25, and then you'll need to go through the quest line, which is on the Broken Shore, where you collect the elven stuff, and then you'll get AK-26 for free. You'll want to do that pretty much no matter who you are. If you don't have AK-25, I do believe you can now buy it with order resources in your class hall, so make sure you do that. AK-26 is so huge, you absolutely need that. And then you need 35 traits in your given weapon. Obviously for this video that's going to be marksmanship, so 35 traits for marksmanship before you can then go on to pick up the quest on the Broken Shore once again from Khadgar, go through all that, and you will eventually come to the point where you are empowered by the Council of Six, and essentially you get your AP reset. So that looks something like this. We get all of our passive here back to us as AP, so everything from the first point up to 54 will have all of that refunded, and then depending on how many traits you actually had, if you're all the way up at 54, you'll be able to get exactly what I have here. Obviously for anyone who's lower, you'll start losing traits here, there and everywhere. So the way you want to progress through this is obviously to farm up some AP, and the first thing you will want to buy here is Acuity of the Unseen Path. That 10% damage and 10% stamina is pretty much all of that passive rolled all the way into one trait. So, I mean, who doesn't want that? Basically, if you are at 35 or 36, you then get up to 54 for free. The only difference is that anybody who actually went and did 54 has all of that AP refunded to them, so then they can go ahead and spend a little bit more than what you have right now. So, for the pathway here, what we're going to do is take Acuity, and then we will go into our new trait. So we want 4 of 4 unerring arrows. This increases the effectiveness of vulnerability by up to 40%, and that's not some weird way to calculate it. That is literally just 40% tacked on to our current 100% baseline. So we can see down here for Mark Shot Vulnerable, my current vulnerable is a baseline of 130. Obviously that's going to increase even further with Patient Sniper. So essentially, any damage that we do which is affected by vulnerable will be increased by 40% on top of what we already get. Meaning we might actually be in a ridiculously good place. I know my DPS throughout what we managed to do in Night Hall tonight was actually quite a bit higher than what I had managed to do previously. We got stuck at Triliax like a lot of guilds until that was fixed, because Annihilation one-shotting you no matter what you do is obviously a fantastic way to spend your night. But then we want to move on to Feet of Wind. It's not that great, but we need to get through it to get to Cyclonic Burst. Trail of Wind left by Wind Burst deals damage over time, essentially, which, you know, it's more damage, and at the end of the day, this pathway is going to give us more damage than any other pathway currently available to us. Now, we do get an infinite trait after we complete all of our artifacts, but sadly we do have to go back and fill out everything that we've already played with before we can then unlock Concordance of Legion Fall. So when you get these new ones, we want to take this in the most DPS first kind of route, which would be taking Quick Shot next, so we get that additional time off True Shot. Then we want to move up to Windrunner's Guidance to get the damage on Mark Shot. Then I believe we go to Precision for more Mark Shot damage, down to Marked for Death to finally pick up some Aim Shot damage, and then more Aim Shot damage with Deadly Aim, increasing the crit strike damage of Aim Shot. And then the only one we really have left, which increases damage in any meaningful way at all, or really at all, because it's not really all that meaningful, is Cold Shot. So then we get more damage to Multi-Shot. After that, we have 3 traits which are kind of meh. We have Healing Shell, which we get, you know, health over time when we use Aspect of the Turtle. We have cooldown on Bursting Shot, and then we have damage reduction on Disengage. Personally, I'll be taking the healing shell because that is actually quite useful. The disengage, damage reduction, you might not always think to use it, but it's still quite nice. And then we basically never use bursting shot, so this is probably going to be your last talent to pick up. Then we'll finally unlock Concordance of Legion Fall, which will appear right here, and then we can just keep on piling our AP in there until our eyes bleed, because we probably won't ever actually reach 50 or 50 in there. But at least we'll get another proc to add to all the other procs in marksmanship, which may or may not happen to, you know, guarantee or just absolutely debunk our DPS. So fun times all around, really, and that is the pathway you should be taking, the ideal pathway at least for the maximum damage per trait unlocked for the marksmanship hunter weapon as it stands right now. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or hop on over to Discord. We have a server at discord.gg/Kalani. Great place to come ask questions or just hang out. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.